A dwarven spirit cowers on the ground, trapped in the fear of her final moments.
No, please! Help! Someone! Help!
She cringes at the name and turns to you, urgent.
Mortis! No! Not Mortis!
With growing horror, she turns her focus on something unseen, looming high above her.
Looks like this is Lohar's place. Or what's left of it. Could Mortis have survived this? Boring. There's a void woken on the bridge ahead. But where's it going?
The trembling of the dwarven spirit tells you the halberd in his hands may not be enough to withstand his unseen enemy. He glances behind him, searching for an escape. He drops the halberd and bolts behind some nearby rocks.
Divine, save me! I don't want to die, please! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
The spirit screams and screams as something unseen tears into him. A frantic dwarf knocks an arrow to a phantom bow. He lets it fly at some towering, invisible horror, visible only in his mind's eye. He reaches for another arrow.
Keep firing, damn you! He has to have a weak spot. He has to.
The ghostly dwarf ignores you, but the word Mortis forms soundlessly upon his lips. He drops his bow and yanks his sword from its sheath.
Come on, you filth! Let's see what your insides look like!
There's nothing there.
Good gods, what happened?
Her gaze falls on you, a glimmer of awareness. She raises her hand as a greeting, or as a warning. The spirit takes a deep breath and bellows silently. A distant cry echoes along the cavern.
Run!
The dwarf rocks on her haunches, gnawing at her own bloody knuckles. Her wet, fearful eyes flick to you. She lowers her fist just enough to hiss a warning.
Away! Away! Too noisy! It'll come back! It'll take me too!
She shrinks into the fetal position.
It'll come back! It'll come back! It'll come back! It'll come back! And we'll all be eaten alive! Get away from me! You're already dead! You're eaten alive! Eaten alive! Get
She clamps her hands over her ears and shuts her eyes. She rocks back and forth, deaf to your words.
Boring. This is the poor soul we saw snatched away from the beach. So this is where the sorcerers were taken.
What are you doing? They're close. I can feel them. Run. For the love of the seven, run. There's no time. Run, you idiot. Run.
You made it all the way here, you creeping little maggots? Have you wriggled up to bow to me? Has Lohar sent you to beg forgiveness for his sins? My lord had faith. He came to me when Lohar failed the queen. And as a reward for my service, he has granted me his favor. He has granted me Mord Akhaim. You will learn nothing. My lord has granted me power. I will never answer to another. You might not bow to me in this life, but maybe you'll bow to him in the next.
Prepare yourself.
Forgiving. Imagine me completing the ritual of Mordecai. My lord honors me. Were you not required, I would feast on you, slaves.
Huh!
fits, doesn't it? Oh.
Please! No! Mercy! Mercy!
The Master Sorcerer throws up his pocked, cracked arms to defend himself as you step forward. The undead dwarf looks quickly over its shoulder, his gaze darting from shadow to shadow.
Of course! Of course! Anything! Just name it! What? Source?
The skeleton slowly lowers his arms, staring at you in disbelief.
Of course! You're God-woken! You seek power! Ultimate power! And I worried we could not find common ground. Yes, God-woken, I can teach you. If you swear you won't banish me to the afterlife. Praise be. Very well, God-woken. Listen carefully. Source and void, day and night, love and hate. One is meaningless without the other. To grow your source, to achieve your potential, you must embrace the void.
The grinning skeleton reaches into the folds of his robes and pulls out a small black mass. It's covered in veins and oozing pus.
Here, God-woken. Take a bite.
The thick pus explodes into your mouth, coating the back of your throat. You can feel it running down your throat like rancid custard. You start to retch, your body struggling to reject this intruder, but your teeth clamp down hard on the fibrous, gritty flesh as you force yourself to chew and swallow. Deep within you, you feel something change. Your soul opens up, and you feel it swell as new channels for source start to flow through you. You swallow all you can, and despite the meat in your stomach, you feel a new space inside you, a potential waiting to be filled.
There, I held up my end of the bargain. I did as you asked, and now I'm getting as far from this cave as my bones will take me.
Mortis looks at you in alarm.
God's graves, please be quick. He wanted the Death Fog destroyed. Once he knew his rats had found it in the Peacemaker's wreck, he wanted it destroyed. The greatest weapon Rivellon has ever seen lands in his lap, and he ordered the barrels thrown into the ocean. We couldn't let it happen. We needed it. So I took control. Ah! The Queen! It's the Queen! She saw what Death Fog did to the Black Ring. She saw it destroy the Elven Forest. She said the dwarves needed power like that. And he told me to make sure she got it. He told me to ensure they got to... Oh, Arcs. The barrels were going to Arcs.
The power gifted to me. The power of Mordecai. The power to bend the feeble-minded to my will. And so much more. It was a gift from... It was a gift. I can't. He'll hear. He'll know. He'll find me. He'll come. You can't help. No one can help. If he makes up his mind, nothing can protect you. I can't tell you.
Mordus takes a step back, looking about in half-crazed panic.
I can't. I can't. Not now. It's too late. It's all too late.
The dwarf sets his jaw and firmly refuses to speak until you ask him something else.
What? No, I can't.
You grab the dwarf's old brittle arm and follow through with your knee. There's a dry snapping sound as the crumbling bone cracks and gives way.
Ah! No! Stop! Stop! I beg you! I'll tell you!
You relent, and the dwarf stumbles back, cradling his fractured arm and whimpering.
It's him! The one the seven rejected. The god.
The dwarf is interrupted by another crack. You see his femur has developed a break. The fracture spreads, shearing the bone in two. Mordus stumbles to the ground, oddly silent. He looks up, and you see that his jaw is cracked, broken, and falling to pieces. Fissures are starting to run across his skull, and his ribs start to snap and fall one by one. No enemy presents themselves, but Mordus reaches out to you, his quivering hand desperately grasping for help. Before you can react, his arm snaps cleanly in half. You hear the tiniest whimper from the skeleton before his face caves in, as if smashed with an invisible mace, and the body lies still and silent.
This is incredible. I've never felt so alive.
The ghost stares down at his broken, twisted body, a look of glum resignation on his face.
It ain't a pretty way to go. Mind you, could be a damn sight better than whatever Lohar would have done if he'd got his hands on us. Mind control or no, he'll be livid when he finds out what we did.
The ghost turns to you, her finger urgently pointing towards something unseen. Silent lips move, issuing an urgent, unheard plea. Your hands merge together, your world twisting. Looking down, you see you're holding a barrel marked with a fatal warning. Death fog. A cart contains many barrels more, recovered from a wrecked ship. The room is filled with voices, cracking jokes and swearing oaths as you go about unloading the cart. But somewhere, in the hum of voices, one cuts through the rest. Stop, it hisses. Do your duty. You lift up the death fog, and, fighting against every step, you walk back to the cart. You pass a dwarf, struggling against the voice and winning, but you crack his skull with a barrel in your hands. One by one, the barrels are loaded again, and the cart departs. As it trundles out of the cave, the voice returns, "Come, come to me," and you feel your feet carrying you into the cavern's darkness.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt anyone. But he made me. That voice, he made me. I let him out of the vault. I killed anyone that got in the way. And then I sat here as he gibbered about needing to complete his bloody Mordecai. Damn divino. Some ancient ritual, he said. It gave him the power to twist our minds, to turn us into his puppets. And when he was strong enough, it turned him into... that. He thought it was a reward. Kept saying how blessed he was. What madness.
This again. This again.
Don't worry about it, says Lohar. Quietest work around, says Lohar. Well, I don't see him here, cold as the stone he's lying on. It'll be fine, my arse. And here I was, the fool, believing him.
The ghost swings a foot to kick its old body in frustration, but the boot sails straight through her corpse.
Because it's his fault. If not for him, I'd still be sitting there, wine in hand, happy as Larry. But no, he knew best. He wanted the death fog destroyed. That's why we were to make sure it got into the right hands. I even stood guard of Mordus when he were doing nothing but the Queen's bidding. No wonder we came to this. This is what I deserve for following the orders of a leader with the spine of a sponge. Thank Duna Her Majesty has more steel in her belly than that coward. You're a little tool to be asking questions like that. Her Majesty is trying to do what's best for the dwarf people. And there's not a thing more you need to know.
Even dead, there are humans causing me trouble. You need something. Take a hike, Longshanks. Me and your belly button ain't got nothing to talk about. What's it look like? Either they were a void-woken attack, or this is the most unfortunate dinner party you ever did see. Now shove off. I've got an afterlife to enjoy, and your jabbering ain't making it easy. Walk on, heartbeat. I've got nothing to say to you.
The dwarf pulls a dagger with shocking dexterity and reflexively swings at your gut. Thankfully, the ephemeral blade passes right through you. With a rancid look, the dwarf pockets the knife. As he does so, you see an elaborate seal on the handle. Through gritted teeth, the dwarf growls.
We're done here.
The lock's melting away. Mordus turned the key into an amulet. Cunning. And I thought this cave couldn't get any more grim and threatening. This again. Junk. I'll yield to none. Meet your maker.
The spirit twists and turns in front of you. It looks lost. It looks scared. It looks desperate. As your hand passes through the ghost, you feel its fear flow into you. You feel its confusion. You feel hands on the hard stone, ripped skin where the monster grabbed you. You're surrounded by darkness. You scramble forward blindly, but slip and fall. The floor is slick with something. There's liquid on the ground. It's wet. It's warm. Oh, gods, you pray it's not blood. You summon your magic, and a tiny light flickers. You're kneeling in a clear pool of liquid. It isn't blood. You look up into dozens of eyes glittering in the dark. A long drip of saliva falls from the shadows. It isn't blood. You're flung from the vision, screaming ringing in your ears. Back in your own body, you double over, trying not to retch.
To get clever with this lock. Greet the Reaper for me.
The fish wished it had been the one that got away.
Lucky find.
Prepare yourself.
Hurts, doesn't it? Hurts, doesn't it? I'm ready.
This shrine fills you with a sense of peace. It is a safe haven. You no longer look without, but within. You understand where your path must take you.
Glory is mine. Glory is mine. I will yield to none.
Hatchlings! They ate us! Alive! They ate us all! I watched them swallow bodies and then swallow souls. They fed on our flesh and our sauce. I did not think they would ever be stopped. I did not think they could ever be stopped. Mordus? I heard that name on the lips of the dwarves. They screamed it as they killed each other.
Are you ready to join? Off we go, then.
Each time I consume sauce, my helmet seems to come alive.
Quite right. Do seek my...
Are you certain?
Your loss.
Keep distant. My own demons haunt me too closely. I cannot also bear the burden of yours.
Ifan, good to see you again. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Sure thing. I'll start hunting that down right away. Don't wait up.
So how about it?
You're not quite certain you'll ever... An ancient memory overwhelms you. You are no longer you, but you still sense Source saturating the air, more than you have ever felt before. You watch a figure stride through a cavern of amethyst and rose quartz, a man. No light touches this place, yet the stones and minerals illuminate his way. The man approaches a pearl sphere atop a pedestal. He lays his hands upon it, and Source rushes through his fingers. And you are thrust back into reality. The memory fades, but you still sense the Source the man has commanded, as if you'd possessed it for yourself. You lose yourself in an ancient vision. As the man you saw before touches the pearl orb, you begin to feel yourself be. Various shades of grey swirl across the globe's surface, then part. You are free, joined by 7 others, summoned by sacrificial Source. The 8 of you rush forth as shadows, past the globe, past the man whose body now lies limp on the floor, past the jewelled walls. The vision ends just as you emerge from the cavern. This memory, it feels ancient, a lost place in a lost time. You fall into another memory. You emerge from the crystalline caves, past the orange rubble jutting from the ground, and rise above a shimmering lake. Surrounding the lake is a throng of figures, your worshippers, our worshippers. They will deliver your rightful power to you. You will be as gods. The mob drops to its knees as one. The shimmering lake, once placid, begins to boil and bubble, draining Source from every supplicant. The past fades into the present. You see through your own eyes once again. You sought escape, but something stalked you. You fled. It followed. You came across a pile of bones. In that moment, you knew that this would be your fate. You tried to run. Your Source collar was heavy around your neck. You slipped on the slick stone, and then they were on you, dozens of mouths feasting on your still living flesh. You tried to make a break for it, from Fort Joy to the beach. You didn't make it. You died to the sound of your own echoing screams as the Voidwoken gnawed your bones. You keep your eyes shut tight, muttering rapid prayers to the 7. All around you is a cacophony of wails, whimpers and cries for help. You try to shut them out and pray with even more desperate fervor. A loud, inhuman roar suddenly cuts through the cacophony. You cover your ears with your hands and pray on. You turn away from the sunset, only to see that Stanley has dropped to one knee. He holds out a ring to you with a sheepish grin. Your hands fly up to cover your mouth, but too late to prevent a happy gasp of surprise from escaping. You didn't think he had it in him. The woods have grown chilly now that the sun has set. Annie shuffles across the picnic blanket and huddles against you for warmth. You wrap one arm around her, and with the other conjure a little ball of flame in your palm. Little more than a party trick, but her eyes fill with wonder nonetheless. "It's so pretty," she says, resting her head against your shoulder. "I don't care what they say, what you have is a gift." She inclines her face up towards yours, lips parted slightly. You lean into her, closing your eyes. The ground drifts by hundreds of feet below you. Droplets of your blood fall away from you into space. You don't feel any pain, only a numbing cold. Your senses are fading. All you can hear is the beating of the Voidwoken's wings and the beating of your own heart, only your heart is slowing. The Voidwoken seems to sense that you won't make it. It unleashes an outraged screech, then releases you from its grasp. The ground rushes up to meet you. You close your eyes. You feel a tidal wave of panic drown you. You try to crawl away, but claws pin you down. You look up to see a fanged maw lunge at you. You shift uncomfortably as the wagon traverses a patch of bumpy ground. The Magisters haven't removed your shackles, even though there's nowhere to run. You sigh and gaze outward. The landscape rolls past, empty and still. But then you see something flying close to the horizon. Several things, in fact. You peer closer. What are those? Birds? Your eyes widen as they draw nearer. Those aren't birds. You turn around to shout a warning, but it's too late.
Yes?
Are you certain you want to do—
If we have